Alright, on to the big question. Best memory, favorite moment, etc. Let's start with Dave.
Asparagus. Despite being
Alright, that sums it up pretty well.
most recent event, despite being the most recent event, it was by all means the most epic event in the campaign.
I must beg to differ and say that Rekoj bawling his eyes out over Sir Keegan was the best part.
Well, I wasn't there for that one.
But Rekoj was there.
Yeah, under your influence.
It was a pretty heart-wrenching moment, I've got to say.
It defined Rekoj as a character.
So that's the answer you're going with, Doug?
Yeah, that is my answer.
Alright, John, favorite moment.
There's some good ones, but I think my favorite one was, I forget what happened, but I think Rekoj was in the church or something, getting healed, and I called the blacksmith over to visit him.
Oh,
I think that
you jackass, yeah, that's true.
I think that was my favorite one.
That was a good one, yeah. That's when you were Zook, I believe.
Yeah.
Alright, Nick.
My favorite moment, the one that brought me immense satisfaction, was when we spread rumors around town that Jacques was a pedophile and then chained him to the stables, or tied him to the stables, and had his head kicked in by a horse.
That was very good, yes. That was very good, yes.
That was a fantastic moment. And then we just abandoned him. We left some crazy pedophile wandering around town.
Well, in your defense, you didn't leave him wandering. You did tie him securely to a stable.
Yeah, without paying the fees.
And he came to a fitting end. It's a true success story.
Alright, Steven, favorite moment.
My favorite moment was when we got the original Zacsarrd killed, and you realized that you did enough damage to him to put him from bloodied to instantly killed.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. It's not that it was a great moment, but that I'd never been so surprised as a DM that...
Yeah, I still have the recording, and the first time I was listening to it, I'm like, he really didn't know that would happen.
I was so surprised.
Wait, what happened exactly? I don't remember that.
CJ went, "Oh shit, he's dead!"
Alright, now, this is a bit of a hot button issue. Let's, I'd like your thoughts on the Jacques character / Thomas player. And let's start with Doug, just because it's possible he might have no thoughts at all, because I'm not sure if he even listened to any of the recordings in which Thomas was there.
I think his voice was excessively creepy. Maybe not creepy, disturbing? Or just inspiring a loathing of listening.
And that's why I really regret... I mean, it's not that I regret him being in the campaign, I regret picking him specifically to be in this, you know, online YouTube campaign, because we lost so many listeners because of that. I mean, that was one of the issues. Another issue was I had terrible mic quality at the time, but, you know, people were posting, hey, the rest of you guys are cool, but I can't listen to this shit because of that guy. I can't handle his voice. So, I mean, our first video has over 1,000 views, and all the others have like an order of magnitude less. So just to think of all, you know, I'm not saying it's all because of Thomas, but based on the reaction, it definitely was a major factor. Dave.
Yeah, I pretty much just agree with it. Well, I agree with that idea. It's just his voice. I mean, the Jacques character was freaking hilarious. I mean, it was a hilarious character, but the voice made him really bad. If it was like Doug playing Jacques, that would be pretty damn funny.
More love for Doug.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, Dave, that's a good point though. The Jacques character himself was good. And I think Thomas too, you know, he's a cool guy. From where I'd known him previously, he just seemed to be a sort of endearing type of person where people kind of just like him, even though he's a little on the annoying side. But I guess you have to warm up to him. You can't just take it at face value and get that. But so yeah, Steven, your thoughts?
I can't say much for his character because, well, I never actually watched any of the recording. But I have to agree with what you guys have all said. I mean, I can imagine how people would find him annoying, especially when they don't know him like you and I did, CJ. It's just one of those things. Maybe not a people person, but, or sorry, what I should say. People may not like his voice, but he's quite amusing when you play games with him.
Alright, John.
Yeah, I have to agree with Steven and UCJ that you know, like I knew him and he was a really cool guy and everything. Like at first, when I first heard him, like, I think I was like, what the hell? But then, you know, after a while, you know, it was kind of cool. You know, he was funny. He always made jokes and stuff. He was a fun guy. But I guess, like, as a viewing type of thing, where you first hear him and you sort of can't get into it right away. You know, it takes a while to get used to. But the Jacques character was like, I think it was a highlight moment in our campaign.
Yeah, I think Jacques is what infused a lot of the comedy into the adventure early on. I think apart from Jacques, things were pretty straight and narrow. So we gotta at least, you know, give him props for that, I guess. Alright, Nick.
Again, like everyone said, it's just his voice, just couldn't stand it. Drives you crazy.
I think part of it might be that when I first met him, he was very quiet. He would rarely speak, and over time he slowly started speaking more and more and more, so I became not acquainted, but I acquired a taste for his voice, I suppose, over time, being introduced to it a little, you know, bit by bit. Go ahead, Doug.
Accustomed is the word you were looking for?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the expression I was looking for was acquiring a taste, but accustomed probably does fit better as a single word to describe it. Alright, let's move on to thoughts about the module itself, the adventure itself. Now, I didn't create the adventure, so you don't have to spare my feelings over anything. My objective was to run this as written, without any modifications, so that we can give or at least I, well, I mean, if you guys want to, you absolutely could, but my initial idea was I wanted to write a review about the adventure, but I felt I couldn't do that until I'd actually played through it. Now, it gives DM advice like, feel free to modify and expand on this and that and blah blah blah, but if I'm going to pay for an adventure, I expect a complete, polished product. Yeah, I could have completely rebuilt Keep on the Shadowfell, you know, from the ground up, and would it have been awesome? Maybe not, but it definitely would have been better, because it can't really have been worse. But, you know, I could make my own adventures. If I'm paying for a pre-made adventure, it's so that I don't have to put in the work. That said, I couldn't help but make some changes here and there, mainly to make things either more interesting and humorous, or less punishingly difficult. But before I go into a rant, let's get your opinions. I see Dave wants to speak, so let's start with Dave.
Yeah, if we started at level 2, maybe 3, this adventure would have been doable. Starting at level 1 was like freaking impossible. I mean, okay, first couple of combats we could have done easily, like the ones where like the freaking kobolds on the road, that was doable. But like the moment we went after Iron Tooth, it was like near impossible to do it.
We even nearly died the second time we tried to take them on after we broke out of their treasure chamber.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was basically like 4-on-1 almost.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, so if we started at a higher level, I think it could have been doable. Other than that, some of the battles were pretty cool. They had some variety in them, but you know, if you're just putting a bunch of zombies around, kind of boring here and there. I have to admit, some of your ideas was funny, like the rat trap. That was pretty cool. The jelly, I guess that, like, you know, the stay out seriously sign, well, the seriously was added later on, but that was actually pretty funny. But I don't know. I wasn't there for Sir Keegan or whatnot, so you guys say that that guy was pretty much one of the best NPCs in the game. So I guess that you guys know what you're talking about. The blacksmith was awesome. I guess the characters in Winterhaven were pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My main beef is that we started too low level.
Alright, something you brought up, the characters in Winterhaven. Apart from the blacksmith, who else?
I guess we did get some talking with the barmaid, the owner of the inn. She was average, you know, nothing spectacular about that character.
I'd call her a
mayor
6.
was out of what, 20 or 100?
Dave didn't get it.
Sigh.
Anyways, the mayor was okay. The priestess, well, she rezzed us a bunch of times, so yeah. I don't think we actually met any other characters other than the stable master and then the red shirts that just died.
There was
I'm just,
Valfrin the Prescient.
Oh,
right,
and
so I'm
obviously
just
there
trying
was also-
to understand why you mentioned the characters as a highlight.
Well, what else is there as a highlight other than trees that were on the road?
It's veiled
I mean,
criticism.
that was pretty much all there was. It's like, oh, there's trees, oh.
Right. Now, I'd like to say more about. Okay, I'll hold my tongue until later.
Oh, and there was also that character that you made him say at the beginning when we first arrived at Winterhaven. You said that one of the people said he was sorry for Rekoj for having the plague or something. That was pretty funny. But I'm sure that wasn't scripted, so yeah.
Oh, it actually said, as a note, and if you have a Goliath Warden in your group, have a character... No, absolutely, that was... Come on. Goliath didn't even exist back then. Okay, Steven.
Oh, I actually have to say something smart. Oh, fine.
It doesn't have to be smart.
No way.
You can
Considering
try.
I missed a good chunk of, you know, any interactions with people or town.
Just... It's fine, just your impressions of the adventure as a whole.
The adventure itself was decent. Well, you know, the battles were a bit hard, but I think that makes it more challenging and interesting. The one thing that pisses me off the most was that room with the stinking statues where Zook got killed by those other statues and too many traps in one room. And if you're a complete retard like me and Zook, you'd never realize that you need to destroy those things quick enough to save your own ass.
Yeah, I think we could pretty much all well, everyone who was there universally agree on that being our worst moment of the adventure.
Other than that, I can't really say too much about it being bad.
Alright, John.
Well, let me just start off by saying I like challenges, especially in combat challenges. As for the lore aspect, I think, I mean, it was kind of good. I mean, there's Sir Keegan, which was like had a lot of depth in him, but I mean the way the slime was born and everything, the lore was okay. But I find the combat. I've never been in a campaign in my life where each round I was hoping I'd hit. Normally it's like, oh, okay, if I miss, not to worry, next round, you know, I'll get it, and you know, it's not such a major, how can I say this, a negative impact if I miss or fail something that's round. You know, if I fail stuff 3 rounds in a row, I'll start to worry. But this campaign, I fail one attack and I'm starting to worry, like, oh my god, we're gonna die. I don't know why, but it was just so hard for some reason. This combat was like ridiculous. At the beginning it was kind of okay, but then towards the end it was like, oh my god, I don't know. It was just, I can't believe we actually did it without dying. I can't believe Coltane is still alive, honestly.
Oh yeah!
He's the freaking CEO.
He also ran away once. Or twice.
Brave Sir Coltane.
He lived to fight another day.
Or die another day.
A true leader knows when to retreat.
Actually,
That's
as
right.
the only surviving member of the Drogans, what's that expression? The winners get to write the history books? Or revisionist history? Or...
Man, I'm
History's
gonna write
written
bad
by the
things about
winners.
everyone.
History is written by the victor. No, it's history is written by the victors.
That's right.
Sorry, Victor's. I know a guy named Victor, but he doesn't write history.
Actually, that was from
It's 'cause
Modern
SB2.
Warfare 2.
Alright, Nick, your thoughts.
Okay, this adventure was complete and utter bullcrap in achieving its goal. Just put that out there. This is supposed to be the, hey everyone, welcome to 4th edition D&D. Let's have fun. Instead it was, oh my god, if this game goes any worse, I might just give up and stop playing and just never go back again. Because
I actually felt that sometimes.
yeah, no, seriously. That trap room was just stupid beyond belief. Like, one of your characters moves in here, and as soon as they're in there, they're basically dead. You know, that's that's it. Unless they're really lucky, one of your characters dies no matter what. Unless you, I don't know, really cleverly found ways of disabling all the other nasty statues which had a habit of, like, taking away a third of your hit points with one attack. So that was ridiculous. Some of the other combats too, just like, if it takes you 2 tries, you know, everyone's healed again to kill like the first boss you encounter, a friggin' goblin. Like, what's up with that? Such bullshit. Such bullshit. And it's just depressing because it's like, oh god, we're terrible. This isn't even any fun. We're just getting destroyed. Now, that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. There was a lot of fun and stuff involved, and some of the battles, you know, were epic because they were so close, but it just did such a poor job achieving what it was supposed to do. I don't understand why they would have, I don't know, written it so poorly. And of course, I also have issues with this whole, like, oh, well, you know, one of you wasn't good at bluffing, so Sir Keegan is going to kick your ass now. And if you manage to survive, like, we were lucky, we were really lucky, because I saw what his attacks had the potential of doing, then you don't get any of the story. It's just stupid.
Not only do you not get any of the story, you don't get the loot.
Yeah, and just like that kind of punishment for small failures. Like, we had 5 people in our party, we had 2 successes in a row, 3 fails, that's it. Like, bam, within 1 round. We failed and then we had to fight them. So stupid.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Leaving like a good chunk of the story and the loot on pure luck of the roll is kind of fracked up.
Doug.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll be as harsh as everyone else is. I think the majority of our frustration essentially came out of bad rolls. And since I'm not too experienced with D&D, I can't really say, you know, what average rolls are supposed to be like. I think we certainly had unlucky luck, you could say, unlucky rolls when it came to, you know, just about everything. The trap room, I will agree though, was retarded. The fact you got this giant statue in the middle, which you could actually just walk around, and these other statues which are on the other wall, which essentially do nothing, and then this one room that, unless, you know, everyone happens to go through at the same time, is going to kill somebody. It's like, I don't know. And like, yeah, and, you know, a trap that can only be faced by the one person who's in it sort of defeats the whole team. Like, yeah, teamwork was useless. We were all skipping our turns as we waited for people to die. But I mean, we don't need to focus entirely on that one flawed area. As a whole, it was a campaign of potential which was not reached. I don't know how much we can actually blame on the creators. I like to believe that these people who are, getting paid and do this for a living actually know what they're doing. I know politicians are not necessarily that good, but the rest of the world should, be good at what they do. So in that regard, I think, we are just as much to blame by being unlucky. I would have liked, to have learned more about what was going on, especially because, I came in late and I didn't really get filled in. I was just, told, hey, let's kill some dudes. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's find my cousin. You're like, yeah, well, we'll do that later. I was like, yeah, well, I'm just here for the ride anyway. This is a terrible, terrible rant. But I'm just trying to be nicer than everyone else. But that trap room was still retarded. And I would have liked to have killed the jelly. I think we could have done it if we went back intelligently. I'll blame Rekoj for that one.
What?
The end.
Dave, is that the extent of your rebuttal?
I only heard the end there, and I was like, what the hell?
Doug, actually, I think you bring up an excellent point when you say potential not reached. I think that is a great way of summing up the entire adventure. I think to an extent that trap room is representative of the adventure. Just poor design, not well thought out. As much as you do not want to sound harsh, this is where the hammer's going to be dropped.
Yeah, like that trap room is what's summing it up for most of us, I think. It's like it just needed more testing. And I know it's not a complete video game, so maybe they don't need to give it the complete workover. But I think anyone who had done it, anyone who goes through this campaign would have found fault with that trap room if they went into it not knowing about it. I certainly hope they don't beta test with people who've read how it works, because that's completely biased. Because on paper it kind of looks like a decent trap, but we are the evidence of it not being. And the fact that you can get experience, say you did manage to actually somehow survive the cherub bowls, you can get experience for walking along the wall around the big statue. Like, it's not just about us losing 2 characters. That whole room is just flawed.
Yeah, any trap that can be overcome by just standing a few feet away from it is not a well-designed trap.